Today there are many new developments on the front line. There are no changes in the Siversky and Slobozhanske directions, while the Ukrainian army continues to increase the density of explosive obstacles along the state border in the Belgorod region. There are new developments in the Kupiansk direction. In the area of responsibility of the operational strategic group Khortytsia, Russian forces conducted unsuccessful offensive operations near Synkivka, Ivanivka in Kharkiv region, and Stelmakhivka in Luhansk region. Ukrainian forces managed to repel about 10 Russian counterattacks in and around these areas. Russian forces still have not carried out a strong offensive in the Lyman region. The Russians attempted an offensive in the Verkhniokamianske region, but failed. The Ukrainian army is prepared for any Russian attack in this region. In the Bakhmut direction, although Russian forces continue their attacks, they cannot achieve the desired success. The Ukrainian army announced that it repelled about 10 Russian attacks in this region. Russian attacks in the Synkivka region failed. In addition, the Russian forces, who organized counterattack operations in the Verkhniokamianske and Kharkiv regions, also failed here. Ukrainian forces continue to inflict losses of military personnel and equipment on the Russians south of Donetsk. Having weakened the strength of the Russian forces in the region, the Ukrainian army continues to strengthen the defensive blocks along the defense line and intensifies counterattack operations. In the area of responsibility of the operational strategic group Tavria in the direction of Avdiivka, the Russian forces, which organize attacks with air operations, continue their attempts to encircle Avdiivka, while the Ukrainian army continues its defense in the region. The Russian invaders continue to inflict heavy losses in Avdiivka. Russian forces carried out counterattack operations in Stepove, Toneke, Avdiivka, Siversky and Pervomaiske regions, but all failed. The Ukrainian army successfully repelled 20 Russian attacks. In November, as in October, the Russian army continues to lose a lot of military personnel and equipment in the region. How many more soldiers do you think the Russians will lose in Avdiivka? The Russians organized surprise counterattack operations in the Mariupol region. Ukrainian forces, who were prepared for the attacks, prevented these attacks. The Russians carried out 20 different attacks. The Ukrainian army announced that these attacks were repelled. The Russians, who failed in Marinka and Novomykolaiivka regions, were defeated in the region. The Russians also tried their luck in the Zaporizhia region. They organized counterattack operations near Robotina to retake the positions they had lost, but they failed. The defense blocks formed by the Ukrainian army prevented the Russian forces. As mentioned in our previous reports, Ukrainian forces continued offensive operations in the Melitopol region, while the Russian forces in the region continue to suffer losses in military personnel and equipment. The Ukrainian army has worn out the Russians in the region. Over the past day, the Ukrainian Air Force carried out 9 strikes on the areas where Russian personnel, equipment and military vehicles were concentrated, and 2 strikes on enemy air defense missile systems. Ukrainian missile forces hit 7 areas where Russian personnel, equipment and military vehicles were concentrated: an electronic warfare station, a radar station, 2 ammunition depots and 10 artillery pieces. What do you think about the operations carried out by the Ukrainian army?